morning. So today we are going to start with a new topic that is called as optics. In optics we have three topics. One is called as interference, then is diffraction, then is polarization. So these topics will be there, and these topics according to the syllabus we are going to cover it up. So let us start with the first, interference. Interference means the superposition of the two different waves. If one wave is there and another wave of a different phase, they superimpose upon each other. So what happens? The resultant wave will be, if the crest fall on crest, so that means there are 2 points. One is crest and trough. Crest, this is trough. Trough, crest. Trough, crest, like that way. So the amplitude will be a zero amplitude, which will be like this way. So that is called as destructive interference. But if they are in the same phase, then the amplitude will be rises. So that is called as constructive interference. So let me review about the basic principle of superposition, which we have done in the previous chapters. So that's why I am not going to repeat this one. I will just go through that topic through this video only, and then we will start with the percent. So in the previous videos, when we have done about the superposition principle, let us say y1 is equal to a1 sin 1 omega t, y2 is equal to a2 sin omega t plus phi. That is the displacement of two different waves where the phase of phi is there. According to superposition principle, when the two waves superimpose upon each other, then the resultant displacement is equal to sum of the individual displacement. So that is a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin omega t plus phi. When you open it out, sin a plus b, sin a plus b is sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. We put this value, so you will get this value. Now collect the sin omega t factor and then cos omega t factor. We put this as r cos phi and this is as r sin phi, which is equal to this one. And then we got the simple harmonic equation r sin of omega t plus phi. When you divide them to equation, we got the value of phase. When you square under it, we got the value of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi that we have done in the previous chapter of waves. That means r square is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. So that was a constructive interference. Now that was the equation for the interference. Now we know that intensity is related to amplitude, that is k1 square. I2 is equal to k a2 square, and then r is equal to k a square. So that means we can find the resultant amplitude. So that means a square is equal to total I, that is total I. So a square is equal to, or r square, k r square is there, or we can take it a square, or here we can take it as k r square. So r k is equal to I upon k, so it will be equal to I a1 upon k plus I2 upon k plus we can put this value, all this one, to root of I1 I2 upon k into cos phi. So that we see value which we can able to get it out. So k will be get cancelled, so that will be I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2 into cos of phi. So now phi is the important factor which represent the phase of the wave. Now to constructive or destructive interference, we can get these waves to be superimposed upon each other, which can be done by two parts when the phi is equal to 0. So when phi is equal to 0, so I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2 cos 0 is 1. So we can write it as I1 plus root I2 whole square. So this is an equation that is a maximum will be achieved. Now when minima is there, destructive interference is there, phi is equal to 180 degree, so I minima will be there. So cos 180 is minus 1, so I1 plus I2 minus 2 I root of I1 root of I2, that is equal to root of I1 minus root I2 whole square. So this is the condition for minima. So I maxima upon I minima will be equal to root of I1 plus root I2 whole square divided by root of I1 minus root I2 whole square. So that is this one. So when the two waves of same amplitude are there, then means it will be equal to 4I square, or minimum will be equal to 0. So when the intensity pattern is drawn, so either it will be perfect maxima or perfect minima. So this kind of uniform pattern will be get observed in the case of interference of the beams. Now, so this kind of interference have been achieved in the interference phenomena. Next is why we do interference. We want that the coherence to be achieved. Coherence is of two types: spatial coherence, another is called as temporal coherence. Spatial coherence means if the waves are moving in particular direction, the phase between 2 points P and P dash, that should remain constant, whether wherever the long region it is going to be there. While temporal coherence means the time delay between the pulses should be remain fixed. So there should be a correlation between the wavelength, that is lambda square upon L, where L is called as the coherence length. And in case of spatial, this value should be less than the coherence length, only they can move in phase with respect to each other. So to get the coherence beam, there are various techniques which we are going to get. So that is now the part of syllabus, actual part of syllabus which we are going to start it out. That is method of obtaining coherent sources. How we can obtain it? Basically, there is no source is coherent, perfectly coherent, so we can make them coherent by using the different techniques. Now there are two techniques of getting coherent sources. Techniques for getting coherence. What are those techniques? So that is according to the syllabus. One is by division of wavefront. Second is by division of amplitude. Now what are these two phenomena that we are going to discuss now? Now, what is mean this division of wavefront? This division of wavefront means the source is divided up into different parts, and that from different parts of the sources we are going to get the reflection, refraction, or diffraction of the beams. So there are different reasons where we are going to use this technique. So here we are doing the division of source. Are being done. So for example, there are three different experiments: Young's double slit experiment, double slit, then Fresnel biprism, and then Lyot's mirror. So in our course we have got Fresnel biprism, but I will discuss all the three briefly here in the. Now let us come to the Young's double slit experiment. Here we are going to take one source. This source is being with the help of split split into different parts. Then two different slits are being taken, and then the interference pattern is being observed. So in Young's double slit experiment, what we used to do, we used to obtain a single interference pattern, that is from this one and then this one. Let us say these are distance between the source and screen, and then two different slits are being taken, so S1 and S2, so they are being taken up into that part, and then D is the width of the slit, and that is the position of this one X, that is the width of the position. So that means we used to take this part in the Young double slit experiment, which we have done in the +2, and then obtain the maxima or minima, and the fringe width we can obtain at the center. We got a maxima, then minima, maximum, minima, and that kind of patterns we are going to obtain it out in the Young double slit experiment. So this is the same kind of pattern which we are going to get. So that is not a part of our syllabus. So but for the knowledge point of view, so here we are going to do the division of the source. So one source is divided up into two identical sources, and then these two identical sources are made to overlap with each other, and so I get a interference pattern here, and another two methods are also there. Now, next method is about the Lloyd's mirror, so Fresnel biprism, which is in our syllabus. So here it is a prism is being taken, a specially designed prism, which is going to taken of what particular angles. 179-degree angle of this one. This is of half minute, and this is of half degree, half degree and half degree, means this kind of degree will be there. So one total angle is 180 degree, so that means half degree or half degree means 30 minutes or 30 minutes angle is there up to there, because 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes, so 1 minute is equal to 1 by 60 degree, and so 30 minutes will be equal to 30 by 60, that means half degree. So half degree, so that is a very small angle is there which is going to there in the prisms. We can able to check the now here we are going to take a prism consists of biprism, consists of a single triangular prism of this kind of configuration. Here one single source is being taken, and then this single source is split up into two virtual coherent sources, so that these waves should be interfere over here. So monochromatic source of light is used here, and then this light after passing through the prism of very small angles over here, then the virtual sources are going to be produced. So these two causes the interference of the beams to take place at this part, and the fringes are being to be formed. So this kind of interference pattern is being formed where the division of sources is being done. So that is the Fresnel biprism. So we can obtain the maxima and minima in this spectrum. So that further how we will obtain that we will discuss in detail. Then the third part is, which is not again part of the work syllabus, that is Lloyd's mirrors. Again here we are splitting up this source into two different sources where the single plate is allowed to expose with the help of light, and the interference pattern is obtained at the point P. So all these three using the division of a source are being there. Now next part is about the division of amplitude, how we are going to take it out. So by division of amplitude means the amplitude of the beam is going to be divided up. So that means light is allowed to follow the object. It is going to be transmitted, partially reflected. All these things are being done in this method. So this method is different from the previous method. Here the amplitude of the light is being divided up. So different methods are there, like Newton ring method, and Michelson-Morley method. So where we can use, or then we can use the interference of the films, of thin films. Mm, all these we are using the amplitude of the light to be divided up. For example, I go for interference of the films. What we used to do, we take a thin film, we get a light which is going to be reflected and then transmitted, and then over the reflected light and the transmitted light, they are allowed to interference over each other, and then we can obtain the interference pattern. So here the light amplitude is being divided up into two parts. One is called as the reflected beam, another is called as transmitted beam. So both the beams are going to be superimposed upon each other. Then similarly in the Michelson-Morley experiment and in Newton rings, again same kind of technique is used, that we will discuss in separately because both of them are our part of our course. So this was all about the introduction of the optics, where we are going to use this methods. So now let us start with the first part, that is the division of interference by the wavefront, that is Fresnel biprism in detail. Now in this frame, so again we are going to repeat this part. So prism, we have given the configuration. So these angles at the light, it is divided up into two virtual sources which are being separated by distance d, and then here we are placing a eyepiece where the beams are allowed to superimpose upon each other. So once the superposition takes place, so we can obtain the interference of the pattern. So that means the fringe width is again measured by just like interference method, delta y is equal to lambda d upon small d, where d is the distance between this and small d is small this one. So there are different ways we can obtain the interference from the Fresnel biprisms. So that we will discuss in our next stream.